Hey everybody, it's Element Productions and welcome back to another video. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Dell Latitude 7400, which is a laptop that we'll be seeing a lot more of in public as these machines get replaced now that they're nearing 5 or 6 years old. But they'll be extremely inexpensive since companies will have, rented 200 to a couple thousand at a time. And now you'll be seeing them flood the streets at extremely affordable prices. And today we're going to be talking about why this is a better alternative to buying a new notebook. We'll go ahead and start off with the specifications, which are important to a lot of people. This computer is on the Whiskey Lake architecture, which is a refresh of the 8th generation Coffee Lake CPUs that faced the meltdown bug on all processors before that. So you can imagine a lot of companies were actually in a hurry to upgrade their machines to a hardware defense against those viruses, not just neutering the performance like they did for the 4th generation Ivy Bridge processors, but we're talking about a much newer architecture. This computer also supports Windows 11 natively, which is a huge upside to a lot of people. This is an 8th generation, 7th generation, and before you can kiss Windows 11 goodbye without some serious workarounds. Also in this machine is 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM that can be expanded to 64 gigabytes, which is awesome. We have DDR4 super fast RAM in here, and with the proper NVMe SSD, which this one has, you'll be experiencing breakneck performance. If you've been using a hard drive up until considering this computer, well, let me tell you, your life would change with one of these. The particular one we have in this unit is a Samsung 981, which is actually coming before the 980 solid state drive, but they're extremely powerful, very efficient, and they came in a good deal of these machines. Also, standard is a full HD screen, and that can also be upgraded to a 2.5K resolution screen, which is absolutely mind-blowing. The power button doubles as a fingerprint reader. The keyboard is nice travel and is backlit, and the trackpad with the Dell software that you'll have to install is actually a joy to use. So we have all of these features. We'll go ahead and start off with I/O and continue talking about the laptop because I'm sure you guys are super interested at this point, and I'll tell you how much these cost and it will absolutely blow your minds. On the left side of the computer, you have your typical barrel style AC power input, along with a USB-C port that can also double as a charging source, full-size HDMI, USB 3.2 port, and a smart card slot. The front of the computer doesn't have anything of interest except for a nice little LED to show you your power and charging states. And on the right side of the computer, we have our headphone microphone combo jack, micro SD card slot, as well as a SIM slot, and one more USB 3.2 port that also can charge devices while it's powered off, with a Kensington lock completing the I/O. So there's not terribly much there, but there's plenty of variety, not a supreme amount of USB ports. Know that you will not get an optical drive since this is an ultra portable, but all that will be made up in performance since most people use their computers for cloud-based tasks. So we're off to a great start for what seems like a super great computer, and we'll cut to the chase with one of the more interesting things I noticed, which is when you go to download drivers for this thing off the official Dell website, you can see under the operating system we have a CMIT government edition of Windows 10 with drivers under that. I think we can safely assume that these laptops are built to a reasonably high standard, especially since this is the very first time I've seen a government edition of Windows on Dell's driver list. That quality also translates to the battery, where we can see a pretty significant capacity even though the battery is original to the computer and in such a slim form factor. The fingerprint sensor is also really quick and an efficient way to sign in lieu of a complicated password. What's also nice is that you get this little shutter for your camera if you decide to hide it, and there's also an available privacy screen with one click of the keyboard, probably this empty little mark here, we'd be able to make the screen only visible to our peripheral vision. And speaking of keyboards, this keyboard is very high quality with deep but firm travel, and I can imagine typing on this for hours. The majority of these laptops came with an aluminum backplate. However, you could option to have carbon, much like the XPS range. And this is real carbon. It feels great, and I'm sure it takes a little bit of weight off. The graphics on this computer are of the integrated variety, to be exact, the HD 620 Ultra HD graphics by Intel. However, compare that to a NVIDIA GeForce 920M and you'll get relatively similar performance. Not enough to game on like super high settings or anything, but you can get away with some lower resolution titles. Of course, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are standard, AC wireless to be exact, and you'll need it because there's no Ethernet jack anywhere to be found. And that's all I can really think about to talk about. This computer is going to be everywhere, like I said, but there's nothing really interesting other than the fact that it's really good for everything that you'll need to do. And the price of these machines already are at record lows at around the $130 to $200 mark. For specs that should easily warrant $300 to $350. And I mean, these things are nice. Again, like we talked about, these are confirmed to have been leased out in large amounts to government organizations, which means that these have to hold up. And of course, these are on Whiskey Lake architecture for the CPU, which means that you are free from the majority of any meltdown risks or viruses of that nature. As you guys might know by now, Windows Defender is absolutely top of the range for antivirus defense. And hopefully none of y'all have got viruses recently, but with a laptop as cool as this, you're going to want to be doing only important things on it. So I hope that helps you guys. This review is, of course, for saving you guys money on things, and I think that this laptop offers a diverse amount of features for the price. And let me know if you guys get one and how it goes. Maybe you guys have the i7 variant of this machine, which will undoubtedly run circles around this thing in benchmarks. And for how thin and light it is, it's absolutely my #1 contender for a used laptop in 2024. So I hope this review helps you guys, and take it easy, everybody. Remember to like and subscribe to the video. We will absolutely be rolling out some really cool content shortly. So take it easy, y'all, and see you in the next one. Peace.